Good morning and welcome to another Memphis Monday. Today this is part one of our blue steamer trunk restoration, and today we're going to restore this top tray and reline it and all that stuff. So if you want to see how we did it, stay tuned because that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to be starting on the trunk project tomorrow, and what I'm doing now, this is the top tray that goes in the trunk. It's covered in this really smelly wallpaper stuff, and they use wallpaper glue on it, which is water soluble. You can steam it off, but you can also just get it wet with soap and water. My plan on this thing is to line the inside with cloth and try to finish the outside in some kind of a light pine color. But I'm doing this now instead of tomorrow, so this thing can be dry. So it can dry tonight. Now I call this stuff wallpaper, but it's really quite a heavy cloth. I glued it on here, and I think it really helped the strength of the box. So that's something I have to think about. Now I'll show you how this stuff comes out. You can see it just pulling right up. Now, if you've ever taken apart old furniture and you get that like real ugly smell, what you're smelling is some of the glue they used to use. They call it high glue. And I don't know what it smells like when it's new, but when it's old, it don't smell too groovy. Then you can see all that glue down in there. That will peel off. See how it peels off? It's really good stuff when it's dry. But as soon as it gets wet, it turns into jelly. Sometimes on old furniture, if you have a joint that's failed and it's got some of this water soluble glue, you can get the joint wet, stick it back together again. It's not as good as new, but it works. Just reading a lot of this old furniture lasts so long. You see it after 100 years. Good morning and welcome to another Memphis Monday 343. Today we're going to, I'm going to go ahead and call this part one because, I'm trying to get it into one adventure probably won't work. But we're going to get at least the top insert part done today. Then we're going to try to get as far as we can into the rest of the trunk. I don't want to shortchange anybody on this because there's quite a bit of interest in restoring these old trunks, and so I want to add my part to it. But I'm not going to add anything unless we do what? That's right. Let's knock off that chit chat and get the trunking. Here's a little drawing I made of our trunk. The repairs we're going to make, we're going to replace the leather handles and we're going to replace the lock, and then we're going to reline the inside and put a new insert. Let me show you that. This is the tray here. This thing goes down in here. It goes right down in here. And here's the trunk itself. It's actually in pretty good shape. I'm not going to put any, I'm not going to paint it or anything like that. Just going to make sure it's clean. Of course, the leather handles, we're going to replace those. We're going to replace this this lock. It looks like it's already been replaced once. And we're going to reline the inside of the trunk. What I've been doing here is cleaning it, and then I coated it with spar urethane to kind of seal the smell out. The whole trunk and the tray were covered in this real tough fabric. It was held in by, hide glue, which is kind of a furniture glue. Works real good, but it stinks like crazy after a few years. Another thing I did is I built this little platform that the trunk is going to sit on. It's made out of oak, and it'll just sit on the floor and the trunk will sit on it. Now the tray was really what we're probably going to be working on most of the day. It was completely covered in this, in the intro you saw me taking this stuff out. It's real tough stuff, and it was covering the whole thing. Well, what that did is it offered quite a bit of rigidity to this box, and taking this stuff off made this box a little bit racky. To solve that rackiness and reinforce the box, I did all the joints in fiberglass, and this will be covered, and that'll make sure the box is nice and rigid. So I know how to fiberglass, but I don't know, I'm not as good with colors and designs as I should be. But these are some colors, and these are some fabric that I've fiddled with, trying to figure out what the best design is for the fabric I lined the whole thing in. I want something that kind of has an old-timey flavor, but it's not real gaudy, and it's not real dark. So here's a couple of rejects. I didn't like that. That looked too plain. That looked too much like paper. So what I finally decided on is this design right here. Let me show you how I install this. We'll put the bottom in right over here. First thing I do is cut out a piece of cardboard that is exactly the size I need to cover the area. And the next step is to cut out the fabric. You know, you leave an 1.5 or 2 inches all around the edge of your board. And then you spray your piece with this adhesive. Not too much because it'll soak through. After you put that adhesive on, let it dry for a few minutes so that it works better to let it dry. Okay, then after the adhesive dries, then you lay this, kind of center it in there. And here's a step, if you leave this out, this is problematic. Right at the corner, you need to cut. You see what I did there? I cut that little corner out. And here's what I'm talking about. This corner, you want to take this square out right here. See? That way when you fold it up, it'll make a nice, neat corner. Otherwise you'll have all kinds of wrinkles in it and it won't sit flat and it'll ruin your life. Okay, now this is the second coating of this adhesive. You want to spray it all around the edge so that you can fold this edge up on the back. So you want to cover the material and then the width of the material up on the edge. And then these little edges, just bend them over. And that adhesive kind of sticks to itself. When it dries, it kind of sticks to itself. And here I'm putting the adhesive on the bottom here. What I like about this can stuff is it's real directional. It's not clogged up. You can basically put it on without a lot of overspray. And we do the same thing on the back here. You can put more on the back. It's this side, because you don't have to worry about bleed through. Well, I left out a step. I should have dry fitted this before I sprayed it, because if it don't fit, that would be bad. And now we got our bottoms in. Now what we need to do is cover these sides here. We basically have 4 sides here that should be all the same. Let's dream up a template. Okay, these sides, kind of an awkward shape. They slope in here at the top. So what I've done is I've laid the box right down on the cardboard, and I'm going to trace that out, and then we'll trim it to size. Well, I got my template finished, so I got one done. So now I need to make 4 of these, so we can get these sides done. Let me show you something. I think you can see it in the camera, but these angled sides, there are 2 different angles. This one's angled more than this one. That's the angle for that one. I come over here, more of an angle. Well, I didn't even notice that. I just assumed that the whole thing was symmetrical, that those angles were the same on both sides, but they're not. So that's going to be an important piece of information when I go to glue those things in. Now I gotta figure this puzzle out. Guess this one goes in here. This one goes in here. Well, we got the ends all in. Now we're going to do that side over there. That side and that side should be the same. The other side is different, got a different angle. What I was going to do is put this side pieces in 2 different panels, top panel and the bottom panel. But instead I just took a piece of cardboard and cut it down the middle, trying it this way. Well, that's what she looks like so far. But I don't have the other side in. Over there, the other sides. I'll go ahead and put them in, and we'll think about putting some finish on this thing. Well, here's what we got so far. Looks pretty good. I put some spar varnish on it. Okay, next thing we got to do is, before we line the inside here, we got to take this lock off and replace it. And we got to take this. We got to take these leather handles off, which means we have to drill out some rivets. And we got to take these cleats out that the top tray sits on top of, because our lining will be behind it. So we have to take these out. These are held in with long rivets and nails. Well, that does it for a Memphis Monday 343, year 7, week 31, part 1 of our blue trunk restoration. Today we got that top tray finished. We got it all lined and finished, and we took all that old wallpaper or whatever it was off of it. I think we got quite a bit of takeaways. If you ever need to line anything, that's one way to do it. There's other ways, but I think we should be able to wrap it up. I've already shown you our main mechanical things we have to do next week. We're gonna do that latch, and we're gonna do the leather handle, and then we're going to line the whole inside, and we're going to put a little finish on the outside. We're not going to paint it or anything, but I think we're going to put some spar varnish on the outside just to as a preservative. All right, like, favorite, share, all the stuff you do on the internet. Most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.